North Korean state media has sentenced President Trump to death for calling Kim Jong-un short and fat. This while Republican Senator Bob Corker in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee examines President Trump's singular authority to launch nuclear weapons. Here now to discuss, Jamil Jaffer, former senior advisor to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and former senior advisor to Senator Corker, along with Rebecca Grant, former official in the office of the Secretary of the Air Force and current president of Iris Independent Research. Thank you both very much. You know, I want to start with you, Rebecca. North Korean media sentencing President Trump to death. The provocations continue. It's not the same as launching a missile, perhaps, but certainly in the real world, considering that they have sanctioned the murder of people outside of their own country, it's something that we should take seriously.
We have to take them seriously, but let's remember it's been 2 months since they did a missile launch. So, Charles, I'm still saying that North Korea has blinked. It's clear that they are feeling the pressure. So Kim may be feeling pressure from the UN sanctions, from China, and maybe even internal pressure. This is just a little war of words. Much more important, South Korea now saying they want the North to begin dismantling and freezing that program. And we see China sending out an envoy. I think we're going to maybe start to see some progress towards talks pretty soon. Yeah,
I mean, Jamil, there is a chance that diplomacy is working back toward diplomacy, and also the saber rattling. I mean, it's we've shown some significant muscle in the region, and there's got to be some advisor around Kim Jong-un who's not afraid to lose his life to say, hey, boss, maybe it's time to dial it back.
No, look, absolutely, Charles. I mean, the reality is that people have criticized President Trump's approach, but the truth is, over the last 20 years, we've had a failed North Korea policy. The president stood up to Kim Jong-un, and right now, it looks like he's actually succeeding. Now, they may be sentencing him to death, but as Rebecca pointed out, they're not test launching missiles.
Let me ask you about this, because your former boss is in charge of this committee with the president looking into removing perhaps a nuclear option from President Trump, the singular nuclear option. It's been 40 years, the Senate committee reviewing the president's singular authority to launch nuclear weapons. And of course, what makes it even more interesting is this is at an intense time of this tensions with North Korea. What is the deal with that? I mean, you know, from a public relations point of view, it seems like Republicans, Corker and others, are saying Trump is unfit to carry the nuclear football.
Well, look, I mean, clearly Senator Corker has some concerns with the president, concerns with the president's foreign policy and the way he's handling it. That being said, I don't think anybody's talking about taking away anybody's authority, and I don't think that's even in the cards. There's no chance that a Republican Senate or Republican House are going to pass any law to take away the president's authority, nor should they. The reality is the president has the authority to use nuclear weapons, and frankly, not to use them, but to simply threaten their use and to talk about them and to put that forward. And that's the job of the president. That's what we elect a president to do.
Rebecca, though, should this committee even be getting together, meeting on this when there's some other more pressing issues, I think?
No, they are way out of their lane. And the key element in a nuclear weapons control is called a threat conference. It's like a conference call. So if we see warning indications, then the director of the National Military Command Center in the Pentagon and STRATCOM convene a conference. And that includes the Secretary of Defense, the chairman, other commanders. So there is no singular authority. Trump is the commander-in-chief. We have that because our Constitution requires civilian control of the military.
And the last thing we want are a bunch of lawyers trying to figure out if he has that authority. Thank you both very much now. Here's Lou.